revolution through the workers' march shall run. There will be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. For what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? For the union makes us strong. Harmony. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. In their hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to earth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. It is we who ploughed the very strength of cities and the trees, built the workshops, dug the mines, and endless miles of railroads. Where are we? The wonders we have made, but the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. All the world that's owned by idle drones is ours and ours alone. We have laid the wide foundations, built it skyward stone by stone. It is ours not to slave in, but to master and to own, while the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
My name's Gary Sanders, President of American Federation of Teachers, Local 716. And a little later in the program, I'll tell you another background I have with Roberta in the Labor Center. But we're going to have some folks hopefully coming up here and sharing some of their stories. It's being televised live across the country on CNN. As soon as they heard Roberta was retiring, they called from Washington and asked permission, and I said, not a problem. No, actually, this is Andy Small from the Video Center here in Iowa City, and this is going to be a keepsake for Roberta's family and friends and anybody who wants a copy of the tape. So without further ado, I'm just going to call for volunteers to come up here and say their name and their union and a short thing about any of their connection or memory, and then a little bit later we have a few surprises in the program, and then hopefully we'll end it with a couple labor songs and a good time. All right, so any volunteers for the first person? First person, I see somebody's hand right there. David Osterberg, yes!
Outside of the classroom and started doing things with more people in Iowa. And meeting Roberta at the time probably helped me become a much better labor educator, a person who's probably talked to a whole lot of you guys because they keep bringing me back and letting me talk. So Roberta was real important in my developing into somebody who probably made more of a difference than I would have had I just stayed at Cornell College and taught all those people who wanted to go out and make a lot of money, actually. So Roberta probably has a lot to do with me being a better person, and probably has made a lot of the people in this room better people. Roberta Till-Retz is obviously one of the great labor educators and probably one of the great people. Thanks.
Nobody wants to follow.
Yes, I think we have another volunteer, Justin Shields, President of the Hawkeye Labor Council.
Thank you. Congratulations, Roberta. I still remember one of the first schools I went to down at the university. She kept telling me to quit using the F word all the time. I didn't really think I used it that much, but my God, she'd get on me. And that kept on for quite a few years because I never could quite get over using that. And before she retired, I heard her use that F word a few times, so. But she's just an amazing lady. You know, I've met a lot of people in my life, but I don't know of anybody better than her and Jay, and it's just been such a heartfelt thing for me to have the opportunity to know and love and respect those two people, and congratulations, Roberta.
Okay, who's next here? I know there's lots of folks that want to say something. Come on up and introduce yourself.
Bob Connett with the Machinists Union, Secretary Treasurer, State Council Machinist, also represent Nebraska and Iowa, District 6. Over the years, I don't know how many years it's been.
26.
Well, you count all the time, just before when you came and started to, you had a little time in here. Because we done a little shopping together, remember? I think you might have been a little upset with him at the time because we went after rugs. We went after a rocking chair. Maybe a cat. I can't remember. But,
I was thinking of retirement already.
Yeah, it was. But Roberta, somebody else wanted to be here tonight, but she can't be. So she wanted to send the love and kisses to you and Jay both. It's my wife. And the State Council Machinist would like to present you this plaque. And I'll let you read it.
Oh, thanks. I can't read that.
No, don't read that part. Read that part. You can read it.
Let me simply say that I'm holding up something that uses the F word, and I'm not going to read that because I'm sure it's Justin's fault. Okay, we present this plaque to you with great appreciation for your many years as an educator, friend, and a true union activist in the state of Iowa. Thank you for all the education and friendship you have generously given for over 26 years to the Machinists of Iowa. In solidarity, Iowa State Council of Machinists, AFL-CIO. Oh, thank you. And I'll let the videotape guy show this.
Oh, show it. You had it. You got a picture of it at home.
Yeah, I'm sure we do. Okay. Thank you so much. We'll pass this sucker around.
Okay, I think we got another volunteer over here, Carrie Bowen from the Communication Workers of America.
Hello, I'm with CWA in Des Moines, but I lived in Iowa City for 26 years, and I spliced telephone cable, and I can't remember exactly what road I was on. Do you?
Kind of do, but I don't know the name of it.
Well, let's say it was Dubuque. I was on Dubuque Street, and I was sitting there on my A-box splicing cable, and all of a sudden this car pulled over, and I thought it was some grumpy customer coming up to complain. And here it was, Roberta jumped out of the car, and she was laughing and smiling, and she came over and she said, "Oh my gosh, you're sitting here splicing cable." And I said, "Yeah, this is what I do for a living." But she was so happy to see me doing that. And after she left, it hit me. I had the director of the Iowa City Labor Center notice me doing what I do every day, working in a non-traditional job, and it meant so much to me, Roberta. I'll never forget it.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. Now from Waterloo, Lon Kammeyer from the Amalgamated Transit Union. Thanks, Lon.
Hi, I first met Roberta when I was a machinist when I worked at Waterloo Industries. They decided, see ya. So then I got hired over to Met Transit in Waterloo, and I tried to make sure I always got, anytime they they had a program at the Labor Council. I'm on the e-board over there too. But anyway, we always loved it when Roberta came because always had a good report to people. And then in March I came down with Guillain-Barré. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's your immune system attacking itself. Roberta did the research on it. She could probably tell you more than I can. But anyway, I called up over the Labor Center, talked to Dan and or the secretary over there, and they said no, she was phasing into retirement. So then it wasn't an hour later, and bang, she was there. I'd already done research on it, was grilling the doctor, said, what are you doing? So anyway, she's been a real good friend, and I can't think of a nicer tribute than everybody here in Labor showing up, besides the butt kicking the Republicans took on Tuesday.
Well, speaking of the butt kicking that the Republicans took, just arrived in a very busy schedule, our next congressman, Mr. Dave Loebsack.
Wow. Hey, Dave. Hey, Ed. All right. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, John Dietz usually claps when I say I'm going to be brief, but I don't think he's here tonight. But I really am, because this is for Roberta, and I'm crashing the party. I hope that's okay. Roberta said it's all right. So thank you. Yeah, it's been pretty wild and crazy, to say the least, last few days. But I want to thank everybody here for all the help that you provided, because a hell of a lot of people in this room provided a lot of help. But I want to thank Roberta in particular, because I am a proud member of AFT 716. All right, and we got any ISEA people here? Any ISEA people? Yeah. Where? There. That's right. The other night, Nancy Porter told me we will endorse you next time, and I said that's really great. I'm really glad that they're going to finally get on board. But I'm going to remain a member of AFT. Okay. Thank you, Roberta, for getting that help for me. Thank you very much, and I want to honor you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dave, for coming down. That was perfect timing, butt kicking the Republicans, and Dave shows up. Couldn't have been scripted any better. Okay, next, how about Steve Abbott from the Black Hawk Union Council?
Hello. I get to follow the congressman-elect, so, but, you know, I knew there was probably going to be a lot of famous people because Roberta is a giant in the labor movement. In fact, I'll tell you how important she is. She and Jay came up to Waterloo to the Labor Temple and said, we're bringing somebody with us. They came in and have none other than Sweeney with them. Now, no, not John Sweeney. It was Sweeney, their dog. So they had just picked him up that morning and had named him Sweeney. They said, we hope you don't mind. I said, no, that's fine. And so pretty soon, Sweeney was running around the floor. And, you know, we were talking and everything, and I don't remember what we were doing. We had some sort of class. And Sweeney broke in the floor in the lower level of the Labor Center. And Jay and Roberta were in a panic until somebody, one of the union members, said, don't worry about it. We've had union members do worse than that down here. So, Roberta, on behalf of the Black Hawk Union Council and all of its affiliates, we're extremely happy you and Jay get your retirement. We're sorry to see you go, but we know you won't go far, so thank you for 26 years.
Thanks very much, Steve. I think next we'll have Skip McGill from the Steelworkers. Come on up.
I got to say, many classes I attended of Roberta's and enjoyed every one of them. I mean, I I gotta say, it's those classes that I can probably give her part of the blame that I'm a president of my local now. So it's partly her fault, but we attended a lot of the classes, and I enjoyed every one of them a lot. And I especially enjoyed being on a picket line with Roberta. That is the greatest. I mean, she's the best person to be on the picket line with, and I'll never forget those times. Thanks, Roberta.
Could I tell a quick picket line story? Up in Waterloo, the GMP. I don't know if anybody's here, but I was up there, and they had said, now, you know, the boss is going to come past here, and we want to be very polite and, you know, honor and everything. And somehow I lost control of myself, and I used the F word. And I yelled it out. I'm sorry to my sisters who may be watching this, but I just came out, and then I was so ashamed. So, anyway, that's another picture. So, yeah, right.
Thank you. All right, Midge Slater from the Communication Workers.
It's been a bad hair day. I hate retirement parties because usually it means you stand up and tell a lot of bad jokes about the people who are retiring. And Roberta, it's to your credit, that's not the kind of retirement party this is. This is a retirement party where we're saying, good luck, we won't miss you because you'll still be around, because you have been such an example to men and women both, but to me as a woman. You did my first steward class, and I think it was the first class you ever taught. So we were newbies together, and I watched you, and I thought, God, you know, it's okay to be a leader and still be scared shitless. Because, well, you said, I'm scared. And that was so important to those of us. And I think it's also to your credit that in leaving the Labor Center, you have done it in such a way that the Labor Center will continue without you to be a great place to be educated and to be union. And this is probably the primary reason that CWA District 7 and now CWA District 4 are coming to the Labor Center for our education. And you have had so much to do with that because of the dignity with which you have dealt with every one of us, and you've made us so proud to be workers. And you don't call us middle class, you call us working class. Thank you.
Thanks, Midge. Larry Oman from the Teamsters, come on down.
Teamster business agent retired. We have one or two steward schools every year, usually 120 or 130 stewards, and the Labor Center has put on some great programs, great personnel there, and Roberta's made them what they are. A lot of our stewards have learned an awfully lot from them. We're also neighbors. We live in Mosquito Flats in Iowa City. I'm reminded in the height of the flood in '93, we had to go 2 blocks in canoes or wade out to get to our cars to go to work. And Roberta hit me up one night up on the dry land and said, I need you to buy a ticket to the Johnson County barbecue. I need $20.
You should say Democratic barbecue.
Democratic. Did I say, what did I say?
You said barbecue.
Oh, Democratic barbecue. And I said, Roberta, I'm this deep in water, wading home. My money's on my counter at home. She said, fine. I said, come down and I'll buy it. She waded 2 blocks in the water, waist deep, to my house to get a $20 bill for the Johnson County barbecue. Very good.
Oh, yes, that flood of '93. How many of you live here in Iowa City, down anywhere near the river? Yes, that was something else, canoeing down to Roberta's house. All right, how about Ed Alcock, the president of AFSCME Local 12 here in Iowa City?
Roberta? Roberta's been a very close friend of mine for a lot of years. She's taught me a lot. I'm going to miss her terrible.
Oh, God. Now, all those public speaking classes I've taught, they're paying off tonight.
Well, I was just going to say that's about the nicest thing I've ever heard of this guy from Brooklyn in all the 25 years. And I don't mean Brooklyn, Iowa, folks. In the 25 years that I've known Ed. Thank you very much. Okay, how about some other folks before we get to the family and come on down?
Say your name.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I'm Max Smith. I'm one of the adjunct folks that teaches at the Labor Center. And so that makes Roberta what? My employer, right? Okay. So I get to talk about this. All right? And the first, and everybody's been so nice to Roberta tonight that thank you for saying that, Roberta, because I didn't want to say that. So let's get realistic about this, okay? As an employer, Roberta's no different than anybody else, okay? First of all, Roberta, I have to tell you this. I remember being an adjunct and teaching at the Labor Center sometime in the mid-1970s, late 1970s, okay? You weren't there.
That's right.
See? Okay? All right. Now, Roberta, I continued to teach at the Labor Center all the way through after that because my father said, you teach this instead of him. And so I did that. And I don't remember when you came to the Labor Center, Roberta. I'm sorry, okay? I just apologize for that. But, you know, it was no big deal. Okay? You know, the Labor Center went on. And we did what we had to do. No offense. All right. So then Roberta came on board, and I became conscious of Roberta. And I became conscious of Roberta because what Roberta did was she became the coordinator of the programs I did. All right. And that meant that she set up the schedule of what you do, what you say, you know, all that kind of stuff. Boss type stuff, right? What you do, when you do it, that's the kind of thing that she did. And generally speaking, she was really good about that because she kind of said to those of us who were adjuncts, we weren't employees, supposedly, of the Labor Center, you know, you do what you need to do and we'll accommodate you. That's really good. She did that for 25 years. Okay? And it was great because we were able to do what we needed to do, and we did it in the programs. But you know what she did this last year as the coordinator of the program that I just finished today was she retired in October 20-something, 22nd, right? Okay. She sent up the agenda for what we do and when we do it before she retired. And the first time in 26 years, she had us start an hour before we ever started before and end an hour after we ever started. Now, if I were, yeah, that's right. If I were an employee, I'd be pissed. And I thought about that, and I said, no, this is not Roberta. Roberta is a nice person, we think. Everybody says she's such a nice person, right? Okay. And I'm saying to myself, well, this must have been a mistake. Wasn't intended. And I got to think about it, and I said, wait a minute. Why is she different from any other employer? She saw an opportunity to really nail you. And she did. And she's smiling. And you know what's great about that? is that she knows exactly what she did, why she did it, and you can't be mad about it. Roberta, thank you for all you've done for the labor movement, because 90% of what the labor movement is about is not just raising the level of who we are and making it clear to this country that it is working people that are the core of who we are as Americans, but it is that we are Americans who care, who think, who know what the issues are that confront us and confront all of America. And we won an election on Tuesday, we think, we hope. Okay, we got 2008, we have to win that one too. But it's people like Roberta who tell us that, you know, you're working people, but you are intelligent working people. You know what the issues are. You know what's right for Americans. You know what's right for everybody in America. And she has steadfastly, for 26 years, done that note in everything that she has done. And I'll tell you one thing, George Bush doesn't think we can think. He doesn't think that working Americans know that they're getting screwed. But we know we are. And it's been people like Roberta who've reminded us, told us how to explain to everybody else what's going on. And what more important thing in life can you do? My wife's a teacher. She teaches kids, little kids. Roberta's taught us big kids. And Roberta, there's no other more important thing you can do in life than teach. And you've done it well. Thank you.
Thank you for that. With those wonderful comments, Mac, I only want one thing to add. Let's never forget that when you work for the Labor Center, you are basically an employee at will.
Hollop, where are you? Okay, you're getting cards tomorrow.
Well, we might have started something here tonight, folks. I don't know. Anybody else want to come down and say a few words? Okay. Just be sure to introduce yourself. And
I'm Jerry Kearns of the Steelworkers, also the Lee County Labor Council. I serve on the Labor Advisory Committee, and I've worked with Roberta for quite a few years, I guess. I was a rubber worker before I was a steel worker. We merged some years ago. And we knew Roberta's abilities at that time when she came down and put on a good many steward classes and communication classes for the Lee County Labor Council and for the rubber workers, now for the steel workers. But I always got a charge out of Roberta. She'd kind of work with me. As you know, Mark Smith, there he is. He has a requirement that you have 20 folks before he'll pay for one of our programs. And, you know, we always have 20 folks. Now, Roberta's asked me a couple times, where's that 19th, 20th person? I said, back here in the kitchen, they're working on the food right now. They're out working on some grievance. We always had 20 folks, and Roberta worked with me on that. Mark, I want you to know.
oh, lots of secrets being revealed tonight after 26 years, folks. Okay, anybody else? Tom Jacobs, President of the Iowa City Federation of Labor.
And member of ASME Local 12 over here. Let me tell you a little bit of what Roberta's done since she retired. Whoops, she saw it. Anyway, I'll be nice and not so nice. How's that? 2 years ago when we had our labor get out the vote, she had a class of CWA, and Mark and her come up with this idea that they would go out and help do our district. And so with the help of the almost balding guy over there, we did that. But this year, we didn't have those folks to help us, so Roberta volunteered to take it off my hands and got in charge of doing this after October 27th. This last weekend, getting 1,250, I think it was, phone calls made, and saved my butt on that. And then we had to pay for these folks, see. So on election day, I give her a call after I got done running my precinct 14 stuff over there. I was just a runner, not and a door knocker. And I call her about 9:15 after I got back, and she answers the phone, and I say who it is, and I say, well, you know, what do we do about these guys here? We need the checks and we need to fit. And she says, can we wait till the next day to do it? I'm trying to run my stuff in. I'm precinct captain over, I don't remember what precinct, but she was precinct captain on the day of the election for her precinct. So she's been doing all of that since her retirement. And the not so nice stuff is the Johnson County barbecue. I have documentary evidence of Roberta sleeping through the governor-elect's speech. That I'll leave with Jay, and if he'll let you see it, then you can look at it. But we all love her, and you can't be all good for her.
Thank you, Tom. But she was awake for most of the speeches, right, Roberta? Okay. Yes. Anybody else want to come on down here? Okay. Well, then I think next we'll have Tom Larkin from Senator Harkin's office with a presentation.
Before I start with that, I'd like just to, I was a machinist, I still am a machinist, and I was president of my local for 10 years. And during that time, we had a number of people go to classes at the Labor Center. And we got into the habit where a number of our women would go to your women's school. And I could always tell when they came back, because parliamentary procedure, lots of questions being asked and stuff. But the thing is, and they kind of got over that because they were the excitement of the class. But it didn't last long, right? But it did. But it raised their awareness every year we went. And a number of those folks have gone on to hold office in our local, and we owe a lot to the Labor Center for that. Obviously, Senator Harkin couldn't be here tonight. He is back in Washington preparing for the lame duck session, and then also preparing to take over the chairmanship of the Ag Committee. And also chairmanship of the Labor Education HHS Appropriations Subcommittee, which actually has the second highest appropriations budget after the Defense Department. So we're really looking forward to all that. So thanks for your help on that. But anyway, whenever a friend of the senator's retires, we always like to do something, something a little special, not just a letter. So when we go back into session, Senator Harkin's going to place this into the congressional record. So. Well,
what is it, though?
You don't know yet. along with the picture. He's going to place a statement in the congressional record, so it will be part of our country's history. And of course, we're very formal in the Senate, so it starts out with Mr. Harkin, Mr. President, which is the President of the Senate. I've come to the floor today to pay tribute to a very special Iowan, Roberta Till-Retz, who is retiring this month after more than 2.5 decades as a scholar and a leader at the University of Iowa Labor Center. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, The arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice. I will add, however, that it doesn't bend all by itself. It does so because of the dedication, passion, and tireless strivings of people like Roberta Till-Retz. In addition to her work as an instructor at the University of Iowa Labor Center, Roberta has worn many hats. She has been a prolific author, a respected scholar, an enormously popular teacher, a mentor to up-and-coming union activists, a valued consultant to the labor community, not just in Iowa, but nationally. One key to Roberta's success is that she is both a student of organized labor and also a deeply experienced veteran of the labor movement. Over the years, she has served as executive director of the Iowa Federation of Labor's Iowa Labor History Oral Project, as vice president of the United Association for Labor Education, and as book review editor for Labor Studies Journal. Mr. President, here in Washington, we are a daily witness to the persuasion of power. By contrast, Roberta's trademark is the power of persuasion. She is deeply committed to social and economic justice, and that is what drives her dedication to unions and collective bargaining. As she has taught to thousands of students down through the years, it is organized labor that fought for and won the minimum wage, the 40-hour work week, safe workplace standards, workman's compensation, decent pensions, and health insurance. And out of those victories emerged a great middle class of this country. So I salute Roberta Till-Retz for a job brilliantly done. As long as I have known her, she has always had a tank full of enthusiasm and a heart full of dreams. So I am sure that she will continue to contribute powerfully to the family of organized labor in Iowa and nationally. As our beloved late colleague, Senator Paul Wellstone said, the future belongs to those with passion. By that standard, Roberta has a very bright future, and I wish her the very best.
Well, why couldn't there be one of me sleeping through a parking?
Well, that was pretty incredible, really. I'm almost speechless. And I'm glad I don't have to follow that. But Dan Hollop, the director of the Labor Center, is next on the program. Dan?
I do better than that.
Yeah, I do better than that.
You know, Roberta, there's a million reasons that I should thank you tonight. I should probably start with thanks for not firing me when I forgot to stock the hospitality room as a grad student 10 years ago. I appreciate that a lot. I should thank you for teaching me what it means to be a good labor educator. You know, our job is not to tell labor what they're doing wrong. Our job is to roll up our sleeves and help them succeed. And you taught me that, and thank you. I should also, basically, I need to thank you for being my friend, thank you for being my mentor, and thank you for sticking it out when times were a little rough at the Labor Center. I appreciate that. I won't thank you for dumping the directorship thing on me, but someday I'll get over that. You know, and I was thinking about your career and what it means to all of us, and how many people do we know in life who have had the opportunity to do something that they truly love to do, and had so many people love having you do it. And it's a tribute to you, and I think it's a tribute to this labor movement that you've wrapped your arms around this wonderful woman over here and made her part of this family. And, well, thank you.
Okay, Patrick Hughes, former president of the Iowa City Federation of Labor. Come on down, Patrick. And one of the great banjo players of labor songs in our time.
Gary asked me when we started if I wanted to say anything, and I said, well, if I thought of something, I would come up. And in listening to some of you others speak, I thought of a couple stories that I would share with you, and I'm not sure one of them actually involves Roberta, but I'm going to say it does. I remember a school we did at AFSCME 12. I think it was an organizing school, or maybe it was a Stewart school, and we had the kind of had the 20 problem mark. And I remember that I think it was Kathy Singer went out during a break and slipped on the ice so we could call EMT and get 3 AFSCME 183 people down to take her to the hospital, and that got us over 20. But the other story does involve Roberta, and that's several years ago we had there was a nationwide picket going on at Walmart, and I was asked by the cereal workers if I would run a picket at the Walmart that's just a stone's throw from here. And we were kind of playing cat and mouse with them at the picket line. We were out by the road, and we'd come up by the building, and they'd chase us out back by the road. And finally, one of the times that we were there, one of the management people walked out and was trying to talk to us, and Roberta said something to the effect that, well, when we picketed at the Iowa City Walmart store, they brought us out hot chocolate. And within about 10 minutes, they're bringing us out hot chocolate, and then I go back up to Cedar Rapids the next day, and I find out that every other Walmart in eastern Iowa was giving the picketers hot chocolate, and guess what was on the news that night? It was the picketers drinking hot chocolate from Walmart. Thank you, Roberta.
Okay, well, I really did get fired by Roberta. I think I'm the only one here. 3 times. I was a graduate assistant from 1980 to 82, and my supreme offense was at State Fed in the parking lot in Waterloo when I was speaking to a trade unionist. Because I am an ethnic person, I often use my hands to speak. And she got me afterwards and said it wasn't that I was talking to him, I was gesticulating. I was gesticulating and obviously dominating the conversation, and therefore I was terminated. But somehow... Somehow, she took me back on the staff, probably because I threatened to file a grievance, because I was, at that time, a member of AFSCME 12, and organized a couple of the other graduate assistants to also join. One of them here tonight, Matt Glosson, who's now a staff member. It's kind of hard to believe. That was 26 years ago. I just want to share one other thing that we did do back then, and that is one of my strongest memories is when so many of us went to Des Moines in the middle of February to protest Reagan speaking at the Capitol. And there must have been 1,500 or 2,000 of us marching around the Capitol chanting. And it was just one of the most incredible moments of my life. And you know, it was people, mostly people who knew Roberta from the classroom, who she had inspired to do this, because folks, you know, you got to be inspired by somebody to do that. I mean, truly. And, you know, it's just kind of funny about tonight. It's just so great to hear all this. You know, Roberta didn't want to have anything happening here. And a few of us basically had to twist her arm very severely. And I think the reason, she never said the reason to me, is that she did not see this as some kind of 26 years of personal achievement. It is part of a movement. And it's the movement that was here before she started teaching, and it will continue after she's done teaching. The movement continues, folks. And that's what, to me, is so powerful about this, about Roberta and this whole evening, is that everybody here is going to keep on keeping on. That's what it's about. So I'm going to turn this over to family members now. First is Justine, her daughter.
Okay. Hi. I want to start off by sharing a story. I had to write this down or I knew I wouldn't make sense. The first time I saw her teach, she was on a stage talking about economics and labor history. And what I witnessed was mind expanding. The compassion, depth, knowledge, and passionate teaching style to me is the mark of her and any good teacher's greatness. A wonderful teacher, not only with her delivery style, but material selection as well. I also, I sound like an encyclopedia. Okay, I also want to acknowledge the love and support of her husband, Jay, who is most kind and modest, and just as passionately dedicated to understanding that all people, especially union workers, deserve respect, dignity, safe working conditions, a healthy environment, and deserve and shall have happiness. Those guiding principles have been the bedrock of her strong moral sense of what is right. And some of you here tonight may have borne the brunt of her righteous and, in some cases, depending on who you talk to, justified anger. And count yourselves lucky. None of us is perfect or not so old or not too young, I'm talking about myself, that we cannot learn from each other. But as a daughter growing up with Roberta, I felt a kinship with Eleanor Roosevelt's children who said they had to share their mother. And, well, I cannot think of a better community to share my mother with than the labor community. No other community that I have witnessed has taught me about struggle, hope, courage, the power of knowledge, using might for right, dignity in all work, believing in something greater than yourself, and the importance of real family values. In addition, she also made it clear that she had great expectation for us, her students. I also have great expectations for her now that she will have the time to extend her talents in many different areas. Cooking, cleaning, no, just kidding. No, I told her I didn't want to turn into Martha Stewart. So, gardening, music, horses, and politics.
Well, for those of you in the last 26 years that have never met the man who made it really all possible for Roberta to do her work in the field of labor education, her husband, Jay.
I have to follow my own daughter. Mark called Roberta. Can you hear this? Mark called Roberta early this afternoon, and she said, "You know what? Jay's going to talk tonight. The man who's never spoken a word in public." Well, I've always let Roberta do the speaking for me, and who wouldn't want Roberta Till-Retz to do the speaking for them? She's going to retire from that now, so I'll let my daughter do the speaking for me from now on. Now, you notice the color of my shirt? I wanted to get Roberta a T-shirt, have a T-shirt made for her that dealt with the Get Out the Vote campaign in the Iowa Federation of Labor. Have a very simple message on it. It would be a mathematical equation. GOTV plus IFL equals trifecta. I want to thank the State Fed and all of you for making it possible that on Tuesday we could wake up in a red state and go to bed in a blue state. So, hey, this is fun, Roberta. You never told me. What do we want? Okay. Most of you know me as Roberta's chauffeur and Sherpa, but the very good part about that is I was able to get to know and love Iowa trade unionists just like she did. And so let's hope now that this 21st century national nightmare is coming to an end, and working family issues can come state center. As Mark Smith has always said, a worker agenda is the people's agenda. And let's see. So Tuesday made it an especially happy occasion for Roberta. I'll bet the only person in this room happier than she is Jan Lau, who now will not have to dread going up to the Hill every day to lobby. Just one more thing. Now that Roberta is retired, you know, her rage against injustice, her passion, her intensity, well, you know how she is, right? She won't have any outlet for that anymore. It'll just be me. So if you pray, say a little prayer for me, okay? Okay, I want to say a word. Janet Weaver is going to read something here next. I want to say a word about Roberta's family. She has two sisters. The older sister and husband, Terrell and Jim, live in Grand Junction, Colorado. The younger sister, Todd and Boom, live in Boise. Politically, they're on the opposite side of the aisle from us, but we love them dearly, and they adore Roberta. The older sister went to the Labor Center University website and got this and put down a whole bunch of landmark dates in labor history, including Roberta joining the Labor Center, the labor movement. That was so sweet of her. And the younger sister, Todd, who was carrying on Roberta's mother's tradition of being the poet and punster in the family, wrote something, and her husband, Boom, faxed it to the Labor Center, and Janet Weaver, labor historian, will now read it. Oh, incidentally, if this is going to the sisters and husbands, I'm going to have to severely edit Mac's speech.
Right. Well, thanks, Jay. Most of you would probably know me better if I just introduced myself as Lori's former wife. So that's my connection to the Labor Center. And so that means that 21 years ago, I met Roberta when we came here from England. And my kids were babies, and Justine was a teenager, and all this time has passed by. But that's why I guess I feel like I can read this poem because I'm practically family. And before I read the poem, I just want to say that Jay is not alone in being worried about where Roberta's going to put all of her energy since she's retired. She's threatened things like a 100% clean kitchen 100% of the time, and it actually looks that way, and it's a bit worrying. So you might need to keep in touch with her and keep her getting out there. So without further ado, this poem, which I actually haven't read. No, I didn't. I'm just going to read it cold, okay? And I'm going to give it my best shot here. Roberta's my sister. I've known her for years. We've been through it all, lots of laughter and tears. I've loved and admired her, envied her brain, enjoyed her fine wit, not a thing to disdain. Her beauty so natural, her aura unique. All this being said without tongue in cheek. Now, you say, she's retiring, but can this be true? That's like taking the red out of red, white, and blue. Like removing the L out of AF of L. Like taking the show out of show and tell. Roberta retired, you've got to be kidding. With no one but Jay, now to go do her bidding. Oh, if I were there, I'd help him along. This sibling bond is awfully strong. When you see her in town, you'll all say you've missed her. But for me, I'm lucky. She'll always be my sister.
Okay, thanks, Janet. And now, to conclude, will be Mark Smith, the President of the Iowa Federation of Labor. Yes, and of course, Roberta's going to say a few things afterward. I didn't quite mean conclude completely.
Am I in the way?
No, but it's just like, if I talk into it like that, I'm going to be looking at Ed Alcock. I ain't doing that.
Get where you want to be and up at the
No offense, Ed. She's impacted thousands of Iowa trade unionists. Like for every one of us in this room, there are 300, 400 out there that have been impacted. It's an amazing thing over the 26 years. People have come and gone from this labor center. We never asked the governor for a proclamation. We did this year. Roberta Till-Retz touched the lives of thousands of Iowa union members during her 26-year career at the University of Iowa Labor Center, helping to build Iowa's labor movement through education. The piece that we were given to help the governor do this was the same one went to Harkin, so if you catch some phrases that are the same, you'll know why. Roberta Till-Retz educated and empowered Iowa unions to meet ongoing challenges by developing innumerable innovative labor education programs, including new work systems, workplace rights, labor communications, and labor history. She leaves a legacy of numerous practical written resources tailored to the needs of Iowa workplaces, including publications on workplace safety and health, public sector labor law, new work systems, and Family Medical and Leave Act. Roberta Till-Retz strengthened labor education institutions in Iowa and nationally by serving as the director of the Labor Center, the executive director of the Iowa Federation of Labor AFL-CIO Labor History Oral Project, vice president of the United Association of Labor Education, book review editor of Labor Studies Journal. Upon her retirement in 2006, Roberta Till-Retz is the longest-serving labor educator in the history of the University of Iowa Labor Center, whose expertise, dedication to Iowa's labor movement, and passion for quality worker education will set a benchmark for others to follow for years to come. And now, therefore, I, Thomas J. Vilsack, Governor of the State of Iowa, do hereby proclaim November 10th, 2006 as Roberta Till-Retz Appreciation Day. In Iowa. Now, I'm sure we can get him to do something if he's, maybe we can get it for the country if he's successful in his quest. In honor of her service on the occasion of her retirement from the University of Iowa Labor Center, in testimony whereof I have hereunto subscribed my name and caused the great seal of the state of Iowa to be affixed, done at Des Moines this 10th day of November in the year of our Lord 2006, Thomas J. Vilsack, Governor. Suitable for framing. If we were worth a damn, we would have framed it, but you know, what the hell. She's got all that spare time, you know, maybe she could take up framing proclamations. When you're a state federation officer, one of the neat things that you get to do is work with the Labor Center. I started out as secretary treasurer there. job Ken Sager now holds, and he's been over here to the school. That's what you used to do. Probably the most important thing that you did in that capacity representing the labor movement was serve on the selection committees for the people that work at the Labor Center. The way that worked kind of was that you weren't even officially on there because you didn't have a pedigree. They've always gotten professors and people with degrees and things that really make the decisions, but what I found to be interesting was found out that we actually, the representative of the Federation actually has veto power. The professors, there's some of them here, I think, Peter, with all due respect. I think Peter serves on that thing too, but it's like they don't get to vote on them if they don't get past us first. And it's a tremendous responsibility because you think about it, you can get real kind of like arrogant about it, and I don't mean to sound arrogant or flip, because it's difficult to sit there on those committees and think about the tremendous impact that a person could have, both good or bad. And we take that responsibility seriously. It's as serious as any other business that we do in a federation representing people. And I said it one time before in Des Moines when I introduced her to give a speech, and let me say it here, that it was probably the most important and best decisions I've made in the 27 years I've been privileged to serve as an officer. That we put Roberta Till-Retz on the staff over here. Not only did she do all the things that everybody came up here and paid tribute to her for, not only did, as my wife's got a T-shirt, my wife's a teacher as well, she said, the T-shirt says, "I touch the future, I teach." And so it isn't only all the things that she's done for everybody in this room, both personally and organizationally, but she's truly touched the future. And she's done that in two ways, not only what she's taught and what she's left people, but the foundation that she laid for this labor center, unlike labor centers all over the country that work for the labor movement. This labor center is of the labor movement. It's part of the labor movement, and that's a tribute to her that it's that way. The staff that works here, Dan Hollab, you heard him say it. I mean, he was a graduate student here. Mark Crouch was a graduate student here and went on to Indiana, where he's been a mainstay of that, but a labor center that couldn't get the support of organized labor when they needed it, and they tore them down. It's happening all over the country, not here. The labor movement stands firm behind it. Try and take staff away from the labor center, and everybody in this room's organization is up ready to kick somebody's ass. We don't know for sure who, but we're ready to kick. So she built that labor movement, but she laid a foundation too, and the current staff that's there understands that they're not a service to the labor movement, they are part of the labor movement. And it's what's neat about it. And for all that, Roberta, and for being a friend, I thank you. Now, Gary always makes stuff up. You know? This business about him getting fired, you know, it was, I can remember when this happened. I think she came to me and she said, you know, I don't know what to do with this little asshole. And I said, fire him. He just gets on my nerves. I said, fire him for gesticulating. The other thing he kind of makes up is this business, how this came about. I recall this, it was roughly 2.5 weeks ago, I called Hollab up and I said, you guys doing anything for Roberta? You know, because she's retiring. Well, no, I don't going to do anything. So what the hell do you mean? And he said, well, she don't want a party. And I said, tell some bitch it ain't her choice. It ain't about her. It's about all of us. Well, then really, and it wasn't a matter of twisting her, because what I told Dan is, you just tell the asshole to be here, we're having a party. Well, then the truth came out that when Lori retired, I hate to do this, Janet, but maybe, you know, maybe it's okay, it's years ago. When Lori retired, only 8 people came to the retirement party. I said, hell, Roberta, they like you. once then Dan called back. He arranged to have the party in 2 telephone booths put together. Across the street, somebody, Sager went and measured it, told me that it was the size of my office and Jan Lau's office. You can get about 14 people in there, but he thought it'd be good to have it there because it would look good like a full house. I think Gary had some role in getting it moved across the street, speaker system, all this thing, doing it right. We sat in the office, though, that was like a Thursday or something we found out about it. We sat in the office and said, what is it that we can do for a gift? We've got to come up with a gift for Roberta. And, you know, the people came up with basically half-assed ideas. I mean, it was just like, she's 66 years old. If she wants it, she's got it. So we kind of decided in there that it might be a nice thing would be to just let people know that we were having this thing, and that rather than them suffer with, oh my God, now we're going over there, we've got to have a gift. What could we do? We could write a check for $26, kind of like $1 for every year. And Jan and Ken, I said, you know, what do you think of that idea? And they said, yeah, it's all right if you want to call people. So I started a call, and, you know, only God would know if I had more time and there wasn't an election in between. You know, this was during election time, and so I would, when I called central bodies, I'd say, and, you know, how's those GOTV calls going? You know, that was my kind of cover for doing that. And I've got this bag over here. Roberta, it's your gift. This bag here, no, I get to hand it to her now. This bag here, it just started to snowball. And then when we got here, Jan is running around with a bag like this, and there people are dropping more checks into it. So at last count, Roberta, and there's a few people that didn't quite exactly follow the rules and do just $26. A couple people went a little bit overboard. But basically, there is, at my last accurate count, approximately $3,400 made up of $26 checks. And let me thank all of you that did that not only put it in yourself and put it in for your councils, but you reached out to other people. We appreciate it. Roberta, we appreciate it very much, what you've done for us. And we wish you well in the future. Thank you.
Can I put this up? Well, first I want to thank you so much, Mark, and everybody for your kind comments. But I do want to call attention to my outfit. Because this outfit I got for Tom Vilsack's first inauguration. And I've worn it everything else important since. And along with my orthopedic shoes, I think it's very fetching. I didn't have those at the retirement. Now, you know, several of you have asked what I'm going to do in retirement. But nobody has asked me what I'm not going to do in retirement. And here's what I'm not going to do in retirement. I am not ever going to speak in public again. I'm serious. No, I'm serious. So rather than try to say anything here, I'm simply going to say a few thank yous. I said a lot of things at the State Fed political banquet, and I couldn't duplicate, like, what is the greatest speech of my life, right, Mark? Right. Oh, it was. So I'm not going to try. So if you all miss it, that's too bad for you, but I'm not going to do it again. But I do want to, you know, what you've all said tonight is just touched me so much. And it tells me one thing. It tells me what labor education means to this labor movement. Because really, it isn't about me. It's about labor education. It's about touching the future. I mean, here I look at people. I see Wayne, but the people I haven't even said hi to, and Rod Purdue. I haven't even said hi to you guys yet. And it's just so significant that you would come and say and feel that way about just a mere humble labor educator. What does that say? Oh, yeah. I did want to thank Jim Wingert, too, who was president when I came on board. Where is he? Is he still here? Someplace back there. Because those of you who know Wingert and worked with him know what an unbelievable inspiration he was. I remember one time when I had to teach the GMP. You remember this, Winger? And he was going to say a few minutes, like 5 minutes on my 3-hour program, and he spoke for 2 hours. I'll never forget that. And of course, what he did was much better than what I followed up with. But he has been an incredible inspiration to us all. And he and Mark and Don Rowan were, I mean, it was just so fabulous to be a labor educator under their guidance. And I know that Jan and Ken and Mark are carrying that on. It's so wonderful to work with what is the most progressive state fed in the country. And I know a lot of them because I was active in our national organization. It's the best. And I would like to just mention Jerry Parr here in the corner. Stand up, Jerry. Some of you may know Jerry Parr. Yeah, Al Ackner's looking over there. He's here. He was a labor educator with me in the 1980s, and he left and broke my heart. Mark Crouch was a graduate assistant when I came here in 1980, and he's over there too. They both came in from Indiana. Mark is now, he's now a labor educator and a dear beloved, both of them are beloved friends, and thank you so much for coming. And everybody that's come from Sioux City to Dubuque and from Keokuk and Mason City and all this terrible weather, I just love you so much. I was saying, I know and love everybody in this room, and I'm sorry you don't know each other, you know, because you're all wonderful people and you all have a special place in my heart. I want to thank the Labor Center staff that I'm leaving behind. I am so proud to leave a full staff of 4 people. I thank Governor Vilsack and really the state fed for that. A staff of 4 wonderful people led by Dan Hollop, temporarily, I'm sure, Dan. You won't always have to be director. Jen Scherer, Angel Gonzalez, and where are you, Matt? Matt Glosson, my replacement. Now, of course, you never fill my shoes. We've heard that, right? But, you know, when you get the orthopedic shoes going, maybe, I don't know. And I've never, in all my many, many thousands of speeches, never thanked my husband, Jay Retz, because I was never going to thank him until he, too, got up and gave a speech. And I'm just so touched by that, you can't imagine. And my daughter, Justine, who's just really sacrificed so much of me not being around all these years. My wonderful sisters, who, even though they're on the other side of the aisle, are going to have to sit and listen to this all night of all our Democratic stuff. And thank you for what you're doing. Gary Sanders, dear close friend for many years. Just sorry I didn't have a chance to fire you yet another time. And Mark, you know who he was gesticulating to? Fred Nolting. Fred Nolting, who not only was on the Board of Regents at the time, but he was really a senator. And Gary was talking to him like this, and I said, Gary, when you talk to a man like that, you're listening. You should be kneeling at his feet, listening to his wisdom, not telling him things. So I think it was well justified. And you know what else I'd like to thank in my retirement? I would like to thank the labor movement of the 1930s. Why do you think I want to thank them? Social Security. Now, I was going to thank FDR, and then I thought, why did FDR go for Social Security? It's because of us. And so, as part of carrying on the torch of labor education and passing the generation, or the whatever, to the new generation, I'd like Jen Scherer to come up here. I wonder if you know what this is, Jen. Because, oh, these many, many years when I, who cannot sing, have stepped in when anybody says, Roberta, we need somebody who can lead us in Solidarity Forever, and I, who can't carry a tune and have always been willing to make a fool of myself for labor, and here we have someone who can carry a tune and has a great voice, so we're going to sing Solidarity Forever.
Before we do that, she says, I learned more in my first 4 years as a labor educator than at any time in my life than the first 3 months of my life. Now that I have a 2-month-old, I guess a month from now I'll figure out. I've been at the Labor Center a little over 4 years now, and Roberta's retiring. I know it's not because I've learned enough yet, but I've gotten to watch Roberta do steward schools and FMLA schools and newsletter schools and public speaking schools. And there's one thing that she was always warning me about. We'd be in the car on the way to school somewhere, and she'd talk about, oh, the time I drove 4 hours to get ready to give the best presentation of my life and then realized I left my materials at home. Or the time I had to fire a grad student for gesticulating. She was, you know, Roberta doesn't like to preach and she doesn't like to give advice, but she does tell good parables. Right? But the one thing she did explicitly warn me about, repeatedly, was she said, you have to be prepared. You always have to be prepared. When you're with a group of union people and you're a labor educator, there's going to come a time where they're going to ask you to get up and lead them in solidarity forever. And I never got to see her lead a group of union people in solidarity forever. Well, I guess this is my chance and our chance. So,
okay, let's try to do it. Hell yes.
Of course we do. We're prepared.
And here was Pete Fisher, researcher for the Iowa Policy Project and master musician. Well, we kind of want a duet, you guys, you know, but you can join in on the chorus, okay? I sort of, if you got to choose that. When the union's inspiration through the workers' march shall run, there will be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. For what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? For the union makes us strong. Harmony. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. In their hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to earth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
It is we who plowed the very sticks of cities and the trees, built the workshops, dug the mines, and endless miles of railroad. Where are we? The wonders we have made, but the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
All the world that's owned by idle drones is ours and ours alone. We have laid a wide foundation, built it skyward stone by stone. It is ours not to slave in, but to master and to own, while the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. You can stay as long as you want, drink all the stuff up, but don't drink too much and then drive on those icy roads, but just drink the right proper amount. Luckily, we have David Loebsack here who can intervene at high levels if needed. Where's Lonnie Pulkrabik for when we need him? I forgot to invite the sheriff, who's a good union member. Thank you again so much from the bottom of my heart for coming. One other thing I do want to point out, that the Roberta Till-Retz Appreciation Day was today, and we didn't find out about it until 7 p.m. So we have 5 more hours. Let's live it up.
Thank you all for coming. Really, you can stay, hang around, clean the place out.